All right, this is Project 230. My name is Simon, and this is week 1 of the project. Before we start on what the actual project is, a little bit of my background and what the baseline is. I want to tell you that I'm starting this because I'm 33 years old. It's, I guess, not your typical age, and that's how I feel. I feel like it's a little late to set myself some physical and really, really strong, big goals at this stage. I feel like, when I think about running or any sort of sports in general, that should have been done in my 20s. My 5-year goal, or my North Star, is to run a marathon in 2 hours and 30 minutes. So a sub 2:30 essentially. That's a pace of 3:33 minute per K. To put this into kind of perspective, my first marathon happened in 2022. That was in New York City, and I ran it in 5 hours and 26 minutes. How did that happen? Well, no knowledge whatsoever in terms of nutrition, very poor training. Throughout my 20s, it was mainly drinking a lot of alcohol, eating not very nutritious food, lots of, fried chicken, lots of highly saturated fats, and perhaps knowing about what I was doing, but just keeping my eyes closed and just going with it, and perhaps not really listening to what I really wanted. I think I was signing up to those races because my heart has always belonged to sports, and that's what I deeply love. I enjoy myself when I run, when I cycle. This is really where it's at for me. It's where I find the most joy. But my lifestyle has always been the polar opposite. And so this is the very start, week 1, of shifting everything around what I truly want. I did sign up to another marathon a year later, which was Paris, and that got me a little bit better. I did 4 hours and 20 minutes, and a much better experience in terms of fueling and how I felt, but still very, very far from what I would want at this point. And I'm trying not to lead with ego. I'm trying to lead with hope and with discipline. I think I haven't lived a disciplined life up until this point, and I'm attracted to the idea of taking control over some of my feelings, and that's what it's all about actually over here. So over the last week, I've tested my fitness. I've designed my environment really much around the goal. So let's talk baseline. On the 4th of May, so that was Monday, I kind of looked at all my Garmin data. I'll kind of share on the screen what I'm using. It's a Phoenix 7. Most of my data is tracked. All of it actually is tracked through a Garmin watch. I've got heart rate monitor, the 600. When I go cycle, I've got a little computer, Garmin, and yeah, the watch. Now my baseline is, I'm going to talk about VO2 Max, my 5K PB, but current as well, my cycling FTP, which I did on Thursday, and my PB over 10K, and also current marathon PB, which is 420. And I did an Ironman 70.3, which I have a PB for as well. We need to talk also about pain, injuries, which I still suffer from right now. And I think that's also to do with some of, the lifestyle choices I've made and not being on top of the recovery, the sleep, all of that. So my VO2 Max is 49, which Garmin says is pretty good. But I'll tell you something, it doesn't feel so good when I try and run for over 5K. And yeah, my 5K at this point is about 23 minutes, 25. I haven't gone all out, but my body is just not ready for that yet. Tendons, ligaments, all of that. Let's talk about another metric at this point is my weight, which is 88.6 kilos. So quite heavy. So it's quite heavy for a runner, and especially for the goals I want. We'll talk about weight quite a lot actually over the next 5 years. On Thursday, I did a cycling FTP test on a bike erg, which I bought about 10 days ago. So that's part of redesigning life around the goal. I wanted to be able to put lots and lots of volume of training without any commuting. So making it as easy as possible to get on a bike, which means I can get into zone 2, get lots of volume, very, very good for my cardiovascular system, and very easy on the joints. There is just literally no impact. And the bike erg, why? Price is okay, decent. It's built like a tank, so there's no maintenance. I didn't want to put my bicycle on a trainer because I sweat a lot, and I think that would have damaged the frame and some of the components perhaps without me really cleaning it every time. So it's just built like a tank. It's built for gyms essentially. So I think I'll probably have this for a long, long time. And another thing, it's super simple. The screen, the PM5 is really simple. It connects to your phone, and that pushes all the information from the trainer or the bike to the watch. So it syncs perfectly. It's very simple. There is no membership. I hate membership, so all of that is perfect. The FTP was 253 watts. That was done over 20 minutes. And so if you put that with my body weight, I'm on 2.86 watts per kilogram, which is okay, but in the lower end of okay. And over time, we'll talk about goals later, but that will increase. Very safe way to increase your cardiovascular health is to use a bike instead of running. So that's pretty much it. I don't have a time for 10K yet. I haven't run a 10K in a very long time. Let's now talk about the pain and the injuries I have. That will be my baseline, and then we can move on. But in 2024, was it 2025 now? 2025. So early 2025, that was last year. Throughout the winter, so late 2024, early 2025, I was training for a marathon. And I have to say this was probably my best block ever. I was doing a 16-week or maybe a 20-week block that I purchased from Ben Parks, which is a brilliant YouTuber. And I was following the plan literally day by day, and I wouldn't miss a workout. I had a glimpse of what life could be like living this lifestyle, and I loved it. I was very, very happy, a good mindset. But the problem with that plan was that nothing to do with what Ben did with the plan. I purchased a plan that was not designed for me. It was just too much, and my body could not handle the load and the volume. And so I ended up just running myself into the biggest injury I've ever had. So on that last run, I had to stop. My right foot was in agony. I actually couldn't walk back, so I had to jump on a bike, rented a bike, went back home, and thought maybe with some ice, ibuprofen, all of that, it could go away, but it turned out to be putting me away for about 10 to 11 months completely. And that had an effect on my mental state, and I kind of put, training again back in the corner, wasn't focusing anymore. And since then, I haven't done much. Obviously, my fitness, at this point, I felt very, very fit as I was doing this block. And then, boom, everything went away. During this block, I managed to do a 5K PB of 17:43 and a 10K PB of 39:33. Numbers I didn't think I could ever do. And that got me thinking, wow, I am capable if I put the time and the training in. But obviously, there's so much around the training that wasn't right. I wasn't doing any strength training or very little. I wasn't recovering enough. My sleep wasn't good. Probably my hydration wasn't good. Electrolytes, all of that, it's just kind of a mess. And a big thing that I actually found out this week was as I'm running, I'm spending about 3% longer on my right foot than I do on my left foot. So I'm quite imbalanced. Other things that we're going to talk about later. So the 5-year North Star, and this is why I call this kind of a 5-year journey, is obviously the marathon and running it sub 2:30, which really to me is borderline impossible. When people tell me they run a sub 3, I'm already kind of thinking, wow, that would be a lifetime goal for me. But I want to see what happens when you put all your energy into one thing over a substantial amount of time. Sub 2:30 is the moon. I'll shoot for it. I'll do everything I can over the next 5 years. I'm hoping to meet some people that can help me along the way with knowledge, tips, keeping me on the right track. Now that's obviously the main goal. There is the 5K that I would love to bring to a sub 16, which I'll need anyways to get that sub 2:30 marathon. And then there'll be a year within those 5 years. The 4th year will be kind of a year for me to do something different and build my engine in a different way, and that'll be a full Ironman in sub 10 hours, which is doable. That I feel more confident about because I have done a 70.3 in the past in 5:26. So that kind of puts me into a good mindset. So these are the 3 big goals for 2031, which is 5 years away. And alongside these, I want my engine, so let's call it my fitness, cardiovascular fitness, my VO2 to be close to 70 and my FTP to be over 4 watts per kilograms. And on top of that, very, very important, I want my body, the machine, in a way to be injury-free, and my running symmetry to be 50-50 or as close to that as possible. So really kind of working on what's broken and fix it. On the first page of my 2:30 blueprint here, I wrote that I will prioritize the health of my body over the ego of the workout. I'll be data-driven, injury-free, and relentless. That's a sentence or phrase, quote, that I just want in front of me every single time I'm opening this book. And next is kind of the 5-year strategy, the roadmap to reach those goals. And there's there's different levels that I'll talk now about. So level 1 is right now. This is week 1. And level 1. So level 1 is the structural year. I'm going to work on technique, on my running economy. I might go into places where they can talk about my running gait and ground contact time and whether I need to change footwear. We're actually going to talk a little bit about footwear now since I mentioned it. I went to a shop in East London in Shoreditch called the House of Sports Shoes, and I tried many different shoes. I was always a New Balance guy, doing my daily training in the 1080s. And the problem was I never really thought about the space for my toes, and I was buying my shoes a bit too small. So for the first time, I went to a shop, tried different shoes, didn't buy the shoe because I thought it looked cool, but mostly actually just on feel and on kind of the gait analysis and running on treadmill in the store and looking at what feels the best. I got the Saucony Triumph 23, and I have run now about 4 runs in them, and it's been incredible. I also bought them a size up, so I've got plenty of space. It's a size 11 UK, and I've never bought an 11 UK size pair of shoes ever before, but I think that might be a great found. So level 1, the structural year, and the deadline of this year will be May 2027. So I give myself an entire year to work on this, and within that I've got 4 goals. Goal number 1 is a sub 19 5K. So very, very gradually, and I'll share videos every week with you guys. The sub 19 5K will happen before May 2027. I actually suspect this might fall before the end of this year, if I really give it a good go. But I want to do it properly, and I don't want to rush, because it's a long, long, long 5 years ahead of me and beyond. I'm not going to stop when I just get to 230. And a sub 130 half marathon. Never done that before, a sub 130. I haven't run that distance a lot, just through a few blocks of training, but I've never really focused on that distance. So it's a good first goal for this first year, sub 130 half marathon. I want my FTP to get over 3 watts per kilogram. That will happen with gaining a bit of power, but also reducing or losing a bit of weight, body weight. And then I want my VO2 max to climb from 49 to 54-ish. Yeah. So we'll track these 4 goals over the next 12 months. And this will be through weekly videos that I'm hoping to share on Sundays. And that's level 1. Level 2 will be the breakthrough year. The deadline is May 2028, so that's 1 year again. And I want to break the 3-hour marathon that year. Again, something that's going to really test me. That's a goal that I've had in the past. Even when I signed up for the Prague Marathon, I really wanted to break 3. I never made it, and that was the problem. I was shooting for a goal that was just too big for myself at this point. So giving myself 2 years to reach the sub 3-hour marathon is a big one, and it's coming fast. 2 years is going to pass by very quickly, and I want my FTP to climb from 3 to 3.5 watts per kilogram, and my VO2 max to get closer to 60. That is level 2. I need some water. God. We've got to hydrate. Level 3. That will be building the Ultra engine. And as I've talked about before, I'm going to give myself 2 years there. So the deadline is May 2030, and I'm going to be incorporating a lot more cycling, swimming to get ready for an Ironman sub 10 hour with an FTP at around 4 watts per kilogram. So I want my cycling to be a very strong moment in the race, and my VO2 max to be 65 or around. And so there's only 3 goals for that year, same as level 2. And then eventually we get to level 4, which will be the sub 16 5K. The deadline for this is December 2031, so within the 5th year, and the sub 230 marathon, which is the big goal. My FTP at this point should be over 4 watts and over 68, closer to 70. This is going to require pretty much everything I've got. It's going to require that my environment, my lifestyle, my food, my sleep, my recovery is as best as it can be. I think I'm sitting just at the right spot at 33 years old, and I'm not starting from zero, but yeah, I'm still starting from a pretty early point. Now let's talk a little bit about what happened over this week, and then we can close this first video, this first chapter. Now, week 1, that was from the 4th of May until the 10th. Level 1, my weekly focus was just start and get it done. Put a thing in the calendar, start running, start cycling, start using the bike erg, buy the bike erg, all of this, and make a video and put everything on paper, you know. So the focus was just start. which I'm happy I'm doing. My HRV average over the 7 day was in range, so I wasn't fatigued or anything. I was at 65. VO2 Max, you know, it's 49, FTP 286, and my body weight was 88.6. Now on Monday, I started with a 90-minute bike erg session. Managed to average a low heart rate for me at 125 BPM, and I did 38K. My cadence was 87. What I'm trying to do with my cadence on the bike is to mimic what I want during running. So 87 is a little bit low. Ideally, I want 90, which means I'm essentially doing 180 steps per minute. It's the exact same speed. So that's what I'm going to try and do when cycling, is to reach 90 RPM. And my watt output was 126 watts over the 90 minutes. It was at home, and that was good. Earlier that day, actually, I went to the gym and I did an hour, or like 58 minutes of strength workout. I focused on my hips a lot right now, my calves, which this is probably the number one priority right now, is my lower legs, the calves. And I'm trying to build a little bit of spring around the calves and the ankles and the foot. So that's what happened on Monday. Tuesday, I did a 5K run. Average heart rate was way too high, 155 BPM. I couldn't quite keep my heart rate where I wanted it to be. I was kind of running too fast. Cadence was decent, 179. That's something I'm really trying to work on. I'm trying to get to 180 or even above at whatever pace I'm running. And my ground contact time balance was 49.1, 50.9. So almost 2% off, but not too bad. Still more time spent on my right foot. But yeah, very hard to manage my heart rate, especially when I run outside. I'm trying to do that all the time now. And when I think about my biomechanics whilst running, for some reason my heart rate goes even higher. On Wednesday, I did a bike erg session again, 90 minutes again. Heart rate was even lower, 117, so a little bit lower than Monday. And cadence was the same, 87. I did 38K again and 126 watts. So exactly the same power, but about 8 beat per minute less. So interesting. It felt easy and I felt pretty good that day. And then I did another strength session, but I focused on bigger movements. So I did some deadlift, some Bulgarian split squats on the box, and some calf raises again. On Thursday, I did my FTP testing. So that was the hard 20-minute block. A little bit of a warm-up first, and then I smashed the 20 minutes. And that's how I got my results of 253 watts and 2.86 watts per kilo. That was interesting. Very short little workout, but a great one. On Thursday, on Friday, it was full rest. We walked a lot. We were in the park, and actually being in the parks and in nature, we were in Regent's Park. It's beautiful. We spent some time on the grass. We even walked bare feet on the grass. And I think that was the perfect day to rest. On Saturday, went running. I was actually supposed to do 10K that day, but I only did or managed 8. Took me 39 minutes, 42 seconds. My pace was 457, but my heart rate was through the roof at 174. Cadence was good, 182. And I'm trying to work on my vertical oscillation. I managed to get under 9 centimeters for the first time in every time I see it's quite high. This time around was 8.9. I'm trying to glide more forward than I'm doing bouncing. And again, I'm thinking so much about what I should be doing that it's very hard to manage everything all at once. But yeah, so I felt out of shape actually that day, and that's why I didn't quite get to 10K. I thought I'd better stop because my heart rate is going through the roof and I need to stop here. And then Sunday I did a 3.5 hours on the bike, which was 87.9K, and my average heart rate was 121. So very, very low zone 2 at 87 average RPM, and my average power was 119. I felt good. I fueled properly. I'm using some precision hydration fueling, and those gels, I'm trying to get on top of my fueling straight away. Even though right now there is no racing, nothing. I'm trying to fuel every single workout and train my guts and trying to understand my body a little bit more. So when things ramp up, I know that I can digest those gels. I like them. I think they work well for me. Now I put a couple of notes on my page here, so I'm kind of reading just what I've been doing because it's very hard to remember everything. But I hope some people will find value in all this. Now, my right foot is not 100%, and a real issue with my right hip. That was the problem. I'm trying to also get an appointment to see what's going on with my hip. I have an MRI scheduled for July for my foot, and I'm going to see a physio for my hip. It's quite hard to get the treatments you want in the UK fairly quickly when it's not an emergency. And if you want to go private, it's very expensive, so it takes a long time. And I'm actually going to do this in Belgium, where I'm from. So and I wrote the weekly review. The structure is not perfect. I learned about my imbalance this week, which is true. I really learned about this imbalance, the right foot spending so much more time on the ground than the left. And the lack of pop in my running. I kind of sink into my feet. I don't explode off the ground. So I'm working a lot on that. The new shoes are feeling great, and the bike erg is a blessing. This is a new addition to the place, and it's just amazing. And my girlfriend has a trainer next to me, so it makes the training so much easier. When we're both on there, it's like we're dating on the bike for 3 hours. It's perfect. So that's it. The first week felt like I was on a mission, which I now am. I haven't felt like this in a very long time, which is very true. I love this lifestyle. I feel accomplished when I smash a day. I had a plan and I do it. I make it happen. I say no to the things I want to say no to. I may not see everyone I needed to see, but I have a priority, and there's a couple of priorities in my life, but not too many, and I'm a lot happier that way. So this was week 1, level 1, and onto week 2. Thanks for watching, and I shall catch up with you next week. Go get it. I need to think about a closing sentence. Bye.